In this video I will teach you the technical basics about filming with the DSLR. There are just 4 settings which you need to understand: shutter speed, aperture, ISO and white balance. First of all, you should turn your camera on manual mode. Only then you have total control over the settings I just mentioned. Also turn off the autofocus. Focusing manually is much more professional. I also recommend you to put a loop on your display as a viewfinder, since it allows you to look not just on the camera but through it. Of course, all rules I will talk to you about in the following can also be broken, depending on the look you want to achieve, but since this video is just about the basics, I'll keep it simple. The shutter speed should always be twice as much as the FPS if your goal is to make the movement look cinematic by giving it some motion blur. So if you shoot in 24 frames per second, which is the standard for movies, you should set the shutter speed to 1/48th or at least the nearest possible 1/50th. By opening and closing the aperture, you decide how much light gets into your lens. So this setting has an effect on how bright or dark the image is. An open aperture also helps to create a distance between the object and the background, since the depth of field becomes less the more open the aperture is. Try to keep the ISO as low as possible. The higher it is, the more sensitive the camera gets for light, so the image becomes brighter but also grainy. Before you set the ISO higher, you should try to solve the problem of your image being too dark by opening the aperture. Of course, this isn't always possible, for example if you want everything to be in focus. How high you can go without getting much grain depends on your camera, so experiment a little bit to see what works best for you. The white balance is responsible for making the white in your image look white. Every sort of light has a different temperature. For example, in the morning the temperature of the light is low and everything looks blue. So your camera adds some warmth to compensate that. If possible, adjust the color temperature manually by using your camera's Kelvin scale. If not, and your DSLR is a Canon camera, you might install Magic Lantern, which will give you that option. If you want to know how to do that, watch this video. Magic Lantern brings you many great options to enhance your DSLR for free, like shooting raw video. If you want to know how to do that, here's a tutorial. Thanks for watching.